Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we are diving headfirst into the strange and fascinating world of modern nursery rhymes. You know the ones, those endless compilations you find all over the internet. When you first hear them, they can feel like just a total jumble of sounds and stories, right? Almost like some algorithm had way too much coffee and just went wild. But here's the thing. Is there actually a method to all this madness? Let's find out. So you're listening, and then you hear lyrics that just break all the rules you thought you knew. I mean, a bus horn that goes neigh, neigh, neigh? Really? Since when does a bus sound like a horse? It's these kinds of bizarre little moments that really make you stop and think, wait, what is going on here? And it definitely doesn't stop there. You see these classic, familiar formulas getting remixed with things that are completely out of left field, like a hippo on Old MacDonald's farm. It's not just some random one-off thing. It feels like a very deliberate choice. So here's the crucial point. Believe it or not, behind all this seeming nonsense, there are actually clear patterns. There's a purpose. These aren't just random remixes. This is an evolution. And today, our whole goal is to uncover the system behind it all. Okay, so let's dig into our first piece of evidence. We're going to start with that very familiar farm. You know the one. Except it looks like it's gotten some, shall we say, creative new zoning permits. I mean, we all know the classic lineup, right? The cow that goes moo, the pig that goes oink. It's that simple, super familiar soundscape of a traditional barnyard we all grew up with. But this is where you really see the shift. The modern version completely transforms that simple farm into, well, a full-blown safari. Suddenly you've got elephants that toot, lions that roar, and even zebras that zap. It's a whole new vocabulary of sounds and ideas, and it's all about blending that old familiar tune with something totally new and exotic. But it's not just about expanding the animal kingdom. These rhymes are also teaching some pretty fundamental concepts. A lot of the time, they do it through these really structured, almost mathematical stories that play with tension and, well, eventual release. Okay, take a song like The Ants Go Marching. It's got this super clear, repetitive structure, right? A countdown. Each number gets a new little action that rhymes with it. It's predictable, it's got a great rhythm, and it's just a fantastic way to teach kids about sequencing and numbers. But counting isn't always so straightforward. Sometimes it can actually create some real dramatic tension. Let's look at another one, 5 Little Ducks. This one takes its listeners on a surprisingly emotional journey, one that's all about loss. See, in the classic version of this tale, the cautionary one, the countdown isn't just about learning numbers. Oh no. It's about teaching a lesson in consequence. That group of 5 ducks, it just slowly dwindles all the way down to 0. And the song ends with this really somber, kind of stark lesson, Don't wander off from your mother, which, let's be honest, is a bit of a downer for a kid's song. But the modern versions you see online, they often have a totally different, much more reassuring story. They take you right to the edge of that loss, and then they pull you back. And this right here illustrates a huge shift in these modern rhymes. There's a very clear move towards resolving all that tension and giving kids a happy, emotionally secure ending. The lesson isn't about permanent loss anymore. Now it's all about the joy of being reunited. Now, this whole idea of tweaking classic stories for a modern audience, it applies to some of the most famous characters in the nursery rhyme world, although, as we'll see, not always in the exact same way. Take Humpty Dumpty. He seems to be untouchable. His story is always the same, tragic and completely unresolved. It's like a fixed point in the nursery rhyme universe. No matter how many times you hear it, all the king's horses and all the king's men are still, well, completely useless. So if we start to organize these songs, you can see they all serve slightly different purposes. Baba Black Sheep, that's a straightforward lesson about sharing, and it gets resolved. Johnny Johnny Yes Papa is this little mini drama about lying, which also gets resolved pretty quickly. And then you have 5 Little Ducks, which is kind of the wild card, right? The ending can vary, but the trend is definitely moving towards a happy one. Okay, so after breaking all of this down, what's really the main purpose of a modern nursery rhyme compilation? What's the big picture takeaway here? Well, the biggest thing is that these rhymes are a really layered educational tool. Yes, they teach the basics like sounds and numbers, but they also model social stuff like sharing, and they take kids on these little emotional journeys from feeling lost to the relief of reunion.
And the real genius is how they do it, by perfectly blending the comfort of an old, familiar song with the excitement of something totally new, like a hippo on a farm.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. These songs, as they change, they're not really just for kids, are they? They're a mirror, reflecting our own changing cultural values. This big shift towards reassurance, maybe a little more inclusivity, and definitely a preference for happy endings. It really makes you wonder, what values are we choosing to pass on, one neighing bus horn at a time?